Hey, welcome back to Right on the Money, the go-to resource for your financial decisions. Our guest today, Nyles Gentz, founder of Gentz Financial Services. And Nyles, we've been talking about you, getting to know you a little bit better. But what I want to talk about, I got a copy of your book. And the book, of course, I'm going to hold it up, and it's called Sowing the Seeds of Retirement. And one thing I want people to know, I tab some pages here because they're pages I want to talk about because this is a fantastic book. But one of the things I want to talk about, and we'll put it up on the screen, is let's start with the cover because this is a great cover for the book. And I know there's a story behind it.
Well, let me explain it.
All right.
I thought of this cover in the middle of the night, actually. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have a tendency to wake up in the middle of the night and think of something because Heidi, who did the book with me, had said that we need to think of a cover.
Yeah.
Well, I've never written a book before, so the idea of creating a cover for something I've never done before.
A little daunting.
A little bit, you could say that. So I thought about, the book, it compares farming, raising a corn crop like the cover shows, versus retirement, okay, planning for retirement. So what we did, I grew up in southwestern Minnesota where the ground is flat and black, okay? So you have to have good soil before you think about farming.
Right.
Okay, you have to prepare it. You have to prepare it in the spring. You make it look black, okay? Yep. Then you have to pick out the proper seed. So that's the idea of the little corn plant in front. And, you pick out what brand you're going to use, what fertilizer you're going to use, how much nitrogen you're going to put on, that type of thing. And then you're going to pray that the crop turns out like this.
Yep.
Now you have to weather hailstorms, thunderstorms, wind, insects, drought, too much rain like we've had as of late in Minnesota. So the crop is showing the crop is maturing now.
Right.
And then once your crop matures, and you harvest it in the fall, it goes in these grain bins over here. But then we thought to put this sun back here in the background, someday your sun's going to set. What kind of legacy are you going to leave to your loved ones, your family, if you would? Yeah. Or if you have a charity in mind, what are you going to leave to people behind you? So again, the idea is nurture your crop, nurture your retirement, weather the storms like the downturn in the market, okay? Weather health conditions that might arise for you or your spouse or one of your kids, okay? And then harvest your crop, put it in the grain bins. But then someday, we're not going to be here.
Right. So
what kind of legacy? I'm not necessarily talking a money legacy. What kind of person were you?
Yeah.
Did people like you? Were you nice to people? Were you nice to people at church? Were you nice to people at the store? Were you nice to your clients? And hopefully, I know my staff that works with me, we get compliments all the time how nice our staff is. And they're generally nice people. They're not faking it. So that's how we look at this, the sunset back here, where what kind of legacy are you going to leave behind?
Where do I get a copy of this?
You can call our office,
okay,
or you can go on Amazon.com and purchase the book. They are available at $12.95. 100% of that $12.95 goes to the Wounded Warrior Project.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I'm absorbing all costs in printing the book. So if you buy a book, the $12.95 goes to the Wounded Warrior Project. The reason behind that, Denise, my longtime assistant, is a veteran, 12 years in the Army, 3 tours in the Middle East. So it was an easy place to decide where to send the profits.
I learned in the book that you're still farming.
My wife and I own 2 farms. We own one farm ourselves.
Yep.
And then we own a farm with my oldest brother, which is the farm I grew up on. So we own 2 farms there and have been the Gentz family over 110 years.
Wow.
And so they're both century farms in the state of Minnesota. There's another farm that's been the Gentz family for 100 years, and my Uncle Melford and his wife own that farm.
The book does an amazing job of helping me understand, helping anyone who would read this understand the steps and the things that they need to be thinking about in retirement. And I want to talk to you about a couple things that are in here. One of the chapters, understanding the lay of the land, and you just talked. It's your whole financial plan is right here on the cover, darn near.
It is.
There's a chapter, understanding the lay of the land, and it talks about what age. There's some key questions. What age for Social Security, and what time of the year is the best to retire. There was even a little story in there about a gentleman who asked you January 31st or December 1st. Can you talk about that a little bit?
All of us have a retirement date in mind or somewhere in the back of our minds we don't want to retire. So when people come to our office, the first appointment they have with us is an intake interview with Nyles Jr. usually. So he's going to ask them how long you worked at your current position, your current career. When do you think about retiring?
Sure.
So then I sit down with them the second time they come in. I'm going to zero in on them and say, are you really solid that you're going to retire in 3 to 4 years or 5 to 6? And what's your end game? So if somebody says to me, I want to retire at 62 because I want to take advantage of Social Security at 62. So I ask them, have you gone on SSA.gov and got a copy of your Social Security statement? Most people haven't.
Yeah.
So I ask them to get that, and that'll show their estimated benefits at 62. And I'll tell them, well, you're going to have issues at age 62. You have to buy your own health insurance at 62, which is very cost prohibitive.
Yeah.
If you wait past 62 to file for Social Security, you get 8% raise every year that you wait.
It's a nice raise.
Yeah, so where can you get 8% guaranteed under the current Social Security rules, okay? So I don't discourage people from retiring to 62, but I want them to step back. Don't think so much just about getting that Social Security check, but what other things are going to come at you, like health insurance.
Absolutely.
Okay? Can you afford to retire at 62? Or should you wait till 63, 64, 65? And as far as timing on it, I encourage, it may sound kind of funny, but I encourage husband and wife not to retire at the same time.
Is that from an investment standpoint, or
No,
from a marriage happiness
just a
standpoint?
happy marriage. Happy marriage, because you've gone separate ways every day, and now you're both at home together at the same time. You're better off most of the time one retire first. I also encourage part-time work.
Oh, really?
Yeah, don't go to your boss on a Friday and say, I'm going to not come in on Monday. I'm going to quit cold turkey.
Yeah.
Phase out of retirement. Maybe talk to your boss. Maybe I can cut back to 4 days a week, or maybe 3 days a week. Myself as an employer, I love having older employees. They're reliable. They show up when you ask them to. You don't have to tell them what to do. So I would phase into retirement. My long-term goals is to phase into retirement.
Yeah.
To take my time to leave, which is probably going to be well into my 70s, I would assume, barring any unforeseen health issues for my wife or myself.
Sure.
But again, the timing of it, the health insurance, again, is the big thing, how you're going to retire. And when your pension kicks in, some pensions don't go up in value, so you have to be careful what your pension's going to do. So we'll take a look at that too when you come in.
Sounds like a good get-to-know-you process too.
Yeah, I tell people when they're going to come on board with us that you're going to be clients the rest of your life.
So what we're going to do, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back more with Nyles. After the break, we're going to talk about, well, one, the services that you provide. We're going to talk about some more of those key questions that need to be answered before you retire. That's coming up on Right on the Money.